guys, welcome back to my channel. Are you concerned about your child's reading progress now that it's summer break and with all the changes to online learning from K-12? If so, I'm here to help you. Today, I'm going to show you a strategy that you can use at home with your students to help them with their reading fluency to make sure that they are making progress and staying on track for reading. All you'll need, 2 copies of a grade level, grade appropriate passage to read, 1 marker to track their reading, a pencil for you, dry erase board and marker if you have it, and something to keep time with. Okay guys, so today we're going to talk about a strategy called repeat reading, okay? All repeat reading is that the child reads the same passage several times throughout the week. Okay, when we're testing for reading fluency, typically the child has 1 minute to read as many words as they can in that passage, okay? And the idea behind it is that we track along with them. We notate the errors that they're making while they're reading. We review those errors with them, and then they continue to read the passage 2 to 3 times that week, just to become familiar and start to recognize those words with automaticity, or just fluently recognizing the words when they see them and they're able to read them, rather than trying to sound them out or make sure that they are actually reading the word correctly, but they actually read it just by looking at it and moving forward. Remember that decoding and fluency is in that hierarchy in our pyramids, in our skills pyramid, that is just below comprehension. So this is the last skill that we need to master and become fluent in before we get to comprehension, okay? Any deficits in those skills below always hinders us when we try to move forward with the other skills. So reading with fluency is definitely important when we are talking about comprehension. So the way repeated reading works is the child has a copy of the passage and you have a copy of the passage, okay? Typically as a teacher, I've noticed students that have trouble tracking with their fingers or just blatantly staring at the form. I have an issue with that sometimes, so I use my finger to track. If not, you can give them something like a marker. You can use something as simple as this popsicle stick. It could be another piece of paper, construction paper. They actually sell markers. I don't think that you need to do that. Anything that you have in your home will suffice as a marker, as long as they can block out the sentence that they're trying to read, which actually shows them that sentence and that line, and they can keep up with it, and then they move it as need be. Secondly, you as the observer, you need a pencil so that you are tracking along with them as they are reading. As they are reading, if they incorrectly pronounce a word, you can put a check over that word. If they omit a word, you can circle it or you can scratch it out. If they take too long on a word, i.e. they either do not know what the word is or they just go silent, you can tell them to move forward, and you can circle or annotate anything on there to let yourself know what they did with that word in the passage, okay? So you have your timer set for 1 minute. The student is reading, you're annotating on your form what they are doing. At the end of the 1 minute, they're done reading. From there, you look at your errors and you go back and you guys have a discussion in which you'll ask them, hey, how did you feel about that? You know, were there words that you did not know? How did that feel for you? And then you share what you saw with them, okay? Stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to show you a trick that will also help the students with reading, specifically words that they do not know. So, as they're reading, you're highlighting, you're annotating whatever the issue is, and when you guys are discussing, you come back with them and you will ask them for the words that they have mispronounced. You'll just ask them what that word is, okay? If they do not know the word, I always give them the opportunity to allow them to give you the word independently. Typically wait about 3 3 to 5 seconds to give them that opportunity to kind of process the letters and the word and try to put them together, put the sounds together to make a word. Once we do that, if they do not respond correctly, we will say the word. So we will go through what I call the I do, we do, you do process. And it's not something that I created. It's something that's been out forever. All teachers do it. And it's basically a model, guide, independent practice model in which you will say the word that they miss. So for example, this passage is about birds. So let's just say that the student did not get the word bird correct. So you would give them the opportunity, hey, what is this word? And they would be silent or say something else, and you would say, oh, okay, bird, right? So you're modeling what you want them to say, bird, right? And then you give them an opportunity, say it with me, bird. That's the we do part. So we've modeled, that's just me by myself, bird. Then we say it together, that's the we do, bird, right? And then you give them the independent practice of bird, having them say it to them by themselves. All right? So once we have mastered that and we've done that where you can point to that word anywhere in the passage and they can identify it, then we can move on to adding the sentence. Be really, really careful with this, especially if there are several words that the child got incorrect, because you're going to need to teach each one of those words in order for them to be successful and actually be able to read this passage. Okay? So I'm going to show you an actual demonstration of what this process actually looks like. Now, just a disclosure, my son is actually going to read the passage. He is a rising 7th grader, so he does not struggle really with reading, but I really want to show you your role in this process as of helping the students read. So stay tuned. Hey guys, like this video and want to see more? Remember to hit like, subscribe, and don't forget that little bell so you can stay abreast of all the tea that I'm spilling. All right, so we're back, and so he read the passage. Again, he is a rising 7th grader, so he did read this correctly, but he made some errors for me so that I would have an opportunity to show you. So one of the errors that he made was the passage is, most birds can fly, birds have legs, and he omitted the word to. And that is not uncommon for students that do not recognize the words with automaticity, so they do not know that. So what I would do for him, I would say, so hey, how'd you feel about that?
I didn't know some of the words.
You know some of the words? Okay. So, but other than that, how'd you think you did?
Good.
Okay. So I'm just going to share with you what I saw. I'm looking at this right here. What is this word? To, right? Now, you know that there are more types of to, but this one is talking about what?
Number.
A number. 2, right? 2 legs, right? You also said all birds have a backbone. It is also called let's look at this word. Okay, remember there's a rule for this letter here. What letter is this?
E.
E. So this is what we call a silent E. When the E is silent, it makes the I say its own name, right? So let's try that again. Instead of spine. Spine. Good, right? Spine, right? So we are spine. Let's say it together. Spine. You say it.
Spine.
Spine. Good. Now, You also said that this word is what?
How.
Howl. Now this is a tricky word because it has some components to it. So let's start over. Try again.
Low. Hollow.
Good. Hollow. Say it with me.
Hollow.
Hollow. You say it.
Hollow. Hollow.
Good. Very good. All right. And then the last one, you said the, what is this word?
Shells.
Shall. What letter is this?
E.
E. So what sound does E make?
E.
Eh. Try again.
Shells.
Shells. Very good. So, can you read this again?
These shells are hard.
Very good.
Birds have many hollow bones.
Good.
It is also called a spine. Birds have 2 legs.
Good. Very good job. Thank you so much. All right, so that was our simulation, and where I just walked you through the I do, we do, you do process. And I know you're wondering, like, this lady told us a whiteboard and she didn't even use it. So I told you, if you are at this point, I had a tip for you as it relates to helping students learn words. So say the passage called for the word bird, and the student got the word incorrectly. Okay, he read it incorrectly. What you can do based on how your students learn is that you can either go concrete, which means you have an object that represents the word that they're trying to learn, or you can show them a picture. So for example, let's say the student read the word bird incorrectly, right? And when they look at it, they could not get it. I could also show them a picture and ask them, what is it? And they could say, bird. Oh. Then I can go through the I do, we do, you process. Bird. Right? So I'm bringing this word to life for the student in order for them to tie the actual picture to the letters and the word to make it stand out to them, so that when they see this word, they can remember this picture and say bird. Okay, so that is all the Blackboard really is for. It's for breaking those things down. Now, it is important to note that every word will not have a picture that they would readily be able to identify, or it's not there's not a picture available and they would know what it was. So for those that are in higher grades, you would want to look at the word and substitute the word for the actual definition of what the word means, using words that you know that the child is familiar with, that they have some kind of concepts of, and it will be easier for them to identify the word and then tie meaning to it. Okay, so that is my tip for today with the reading fluency. I hope that this video was helpful for you. Again, repeated reading. It is something that you do 2 to 3 days a week, just to ensure that the student is actually mastering the words and starting to read them with automaticity, especially as we're transitioning to those grades where we are starting to get ready to read for comprehension and not just to read, so that we are getting the words correct. So with that being said, drop me a comment below if you have a comment on this video. If you have a question, I'd be happy to answer it or go into more detail. Until I see you again, be blessed. As always, be a blessing. Until next time, class is dismissed.